What's going on, y'all? This is Mike Brown, and I wanted to welcome y'all to this week's episode of The Art of Letting Go. While I have your attention, please be sure to subscribe to the show wherever you listen, as well as rate the show. If you're listening on Spotify, they just added a rating system. Let's get them 5 stars for this show. Also, book is available, merch is available, justmikebrown.com. Also, started a new segment called Ask Me a Question, where you could ask me a question and I'll respond to it on the show. I got a phone line. I got, any way you want to get in touch, let's get in touch. Yo, what up? This is Mike Brown, and this is The Art of Letting Go. Today, I have a special guest in the building. What's so funny is we met in the pandemic, but I feel like I've grown to know you more than, I've really grown to know you a lot, and I appreciate your friendship so much. But yeah, we play spades together.
Yes. I forgot about that.
Yeah. First time playing spades and we was whooping ass.
Yes, sir.
Can you let the people know who you are?
My name is Andre Damian Kelly. Let's see. What do you want to know? I'm 37 as of March 1st. 2 weeks ago?
Oh, wow. Happy belated.
That means I'm a Pisces, just for all those people who are curious. I'm a vocalist. I'm a creative. I work in corporate America. All around Renaissance guy, I guess.
That's what's up, man. How are you feeling today?
Feeling good. Spirits are good. I'm happy to be out here at a park, watching people while talking to you, because I'm going to be watching people.
Yeah, that's why I like to record outside, because I get inspired by everything. I get inspired by the trees, the people, just being outside.
Yes.
But yeah, man, I wanted to bring you on the show just to have a conversation with you, because I feel like when we do talk, we always just really have dope conversations.
That we do.
But the first thing I wanted to talk about was the soulmate thing, because you said you had lunch with your female soulmate, and that's interesting because people only tie, most times you only hear people really tie soulmates to romance, romantic stuff. So could you explain more what that means?
Sure. So my theory is that we have 4 soulmates. Some of them are platonic, some of them are not. She happens to be a platonic soulmate. I feel like I've traveled through many lifetimes with her, different iterations. Maybe in a past iteration we were a couple. Yeah. People thought we were a couple just through our friendship, and we were talking about that last night. And we're talking about how she's looking for a man that has my qualities.
Oh, wow.
And it's just we already know if you were straight, you and I would be together. But I said, no, we wouldn't, because I want kids, and she doesn't. But, this is the type of relationship we have. We can fight, get back together, and I say fight. We can have disagreements, passionate disagreements, and not have an issue at all.
Yeah. Do you think, because I feel like sometimes I do that with my friends as well, I think about my friends and their qualities and think that I want that in a partner. But do you think sometimes searching for that can be setting the bar too high, or creating a fantasy? You know what I mean?
Okay, so I'm going to circle back to that, because I've been also exploring this idea of, as when you're brought up straight, you're told that, you're looking for a partner that's the opposite sex parent. So if I was a heterosexual male, I'd be looking at a woman that has the qualities that my mom has. But I've been reversing that, because I'm am I looking for a partner that has the qualities of my father? And partly that's different because my mom passed away when I was 11. So why I knew her, I didn't know her. I know my father and observed his characteristics, his traits, his habits. But then to bring that full circle to talking about traits that we find in friends. I don't know if it's setting yourself up for failure. It's and I don't want to say it's a standard either. But when you have loyal friends, when you have trustworthy friends, when you have friends that you can I fuck with them for that reason.
Yeah.
she used to always say, like, Dre, I know you will take a bullet for me, but you'll probably curse me out for it.
Yeah.
And, real talk, that's probably happened. Like, you made me take a bullet for your ass? What the fuck did you get us in this situation? Like, but I'm still going to be there for you. I'm still going to be like, I got you. I'll take this bullet because I know you will take this bullet for me.
Yeah. I'm curious because now I'm thinking, when we look for somebody like our friends, we look at the positive traits, but like where do we pull those negative ones from, or should we even look at them?
Of course.
Yeah.
I believe in friendship and romantic relationships, parental relationships, just relationships in general, like even in work. And I don't want to think of it like as a negative, but I always think like, what's the worst they can do to me?
Yeah.
And is that really the worst they can do to me, or is that just me being afraid of being afraid?
Yeah.
So like I think of like, what can you do to me? Like how? What do you know what would really push a button and like hurt me to the core? Yeah. And if you were to do so, would I ever get over it?
Yeah.
I've had those conversations with myself partly because I've had friendships in the past that I realized weren't friendships, and I had put my trust in the wrong people, and I got mad at myself for saying, like, how, like, you allowed yourself to be friends with them. You allowed yourself to trust them, to be vulnerable enough with them.
Yeah.
And now they kind of use that against you, regardless if, like, or they betrayed your trust.
Yeah.
So that's something that I constantly think of.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a trusting person, even though people think I'm very trusting.
That's funny. Why do you think that is? Because I feel like I hadn't really been a trusting person in my life. But why do you think for you that you weren't very trusting of people?
So the pivot is because my mom passed away when I was 11, and then that set a series of events of me moving around a lot from North Carolina, Orlando, out here. I kept people at arm's length, and like my biggest fear is being abandoned. Like, biggest fear. Like, I used to hate going to movies by myself, eating out by myself, going to the bar by myself, and in my like mid-30s to later 30s, I've been like, okay, let's get over that fear. Let's overcome that. But the fear is still there.
Of course, yeah.
So the fear is being abandoned, but then in a roundabout way, it's related to trusting someone enough that I have to allow myself to be vulnerable enough to trust you, and I don't want that trust to be violated.
Yeah. That's real. I feel like this conversation is taking me to a conversation we had earlier just about the difficulty in like black gay men having, and listeners, if you're listening and you feel like I'm wrong, please reach out to me and let me know. You can send an email or you can send me a voicemail because I would love to play it on the show. But sometimes I feel like it's hard for gay black men to have healthy relationships, whether it be a friendship or, you know, a romantic relationship. Like there's just like this, it's like this block. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I'm curious to know, like, what are the qualities of a quote unquote good friend for you? Or like what are qualities that you look for or admire in friends?
It's kind of changed over the years. And in some cases, I wish I would have like learned these lessons earlier. Because right now, the first thing that comes to mind is, and I've always done this, but now it's like at the forefront, how they treat other people around you, how they interact with other people. Because it says a lot about them.
Yeah.
The way and the method of how they communicate. I mean, the standard stuff, like you want someone who's loyal, who's trusting, like I said earlier, who has your back.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's what you assume, and that's the natural assumption that you would have. But like when you're studying a person, when you're observing them, when you're out with someone, like their mannerisms, like do they sometimes pick up the tab? Do they hold out the chair for you? Do they open a door for you? Or are you always the one providing XYZ service or you know, is there a give and take? Is there a two-way? Like, are you allowed to express your emotions freely? Because how I view friendship is chosen family now.
Yeah.
Because I don't have a lot of friends.
Yeah.
But if I call you friend, then that means I also view you as chosen family. Like I have a lot of acquaintances. I'm like, oh, those people. But like, I've gotten to know you. I've either traveled with you or like, if I call you friend and chosen family, then I trust that you can come over to my place and like, I don't have to worry about my place.
Yeah, that's real. I agree with that.
Would you agree?
I for sure do. I think for me, the qualities in like friends for me have been like people that have given me space to like just show up and just be my full self.
I like that.
Like, and whatever that looks like at any time, like if
Yes.
I'm up or if I'm down, and like giving me the space to be that, and like me giving them the space to be that, and that's not necessarily saying like, you know, somebody is just letting me just, you know, just unload my life on them. I'm talking about somebody is just like, hey, Mike is here and he don't feel like talking.
Just share space together. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And yeah, just like people that provide safety, not only to myself, to others, you know, but for sure for me, people that provide safety, and that could be in many forms, you know what I mean? Like in many forms, you know.
And to circle back, like it's funny you say that, like why I look for in a friend more so than anything is accountability. Like I don't want a yes friend. I hate yes friends. And because then you're not holding me accountable. I'm not holding you accountable. And you're just allowing shit to happen. Like if you see I'm about to get hit by a bus and I don't see it, but you see it,
Yeah.
be like, yo, brother, stop. Now, if I didn't disagree or if I give you some pushback, like, then you go, all right, you're going to have to learn this lesson on your own, right?
Yeah.
But, like, what comes with being that type of friend is that you pump me up when I'm doing well, when I'm excelling. But if I'm in a low space and I'm fucking up, put that fire underneath my ass. Or if you see I'm depressed, like you said, allow space to happen, because like you should never invalidate someone's feelings.
No, not at all.
You should allow them to have spaces to have those feelings, but also be like, yo, let's just change the scene, change the environment. Like let's just move you somewhere else to see if that might increase your like make you happy or, you know, change your mood.
Yeah.
Like that's the kind of friend I want.
Yeah. Who were your greatest teachers in friendship and why?
Ooh. Okay. Can you give me more specifics, or is it just going to be as open as possible?
So when I was leaving it open, but when you think of friendship and where you learned it, like who comes to mind and why?
Family? A lot of my family, because my family is huge and we're big and vast all over the country. But like we all at one point lived in the same city, and those interactions, watching it, like when you first said it, I thought of my aunt and my uncle. My Aunt Joyce and my Uncle Vince, they had this organic friendship, and you saw it. I mean, granted, it was also romantic, which is also who I kind of model like potential partners after seeing that relationship. With that, my brother Nelson, and it might be a detriment to us because we are such open people, but like we're welcoming you to our home. And like it doesn't matter. Like for Thanksgiving, it'll be like 40 people, but like only like 15 of us are like family, and the rest is like chosen family and friendship and friends that like either they have a place to go or they still chose us over there. We're going to like Thanksgiving with their family, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no other models. What about you?
My first that comes to mind are my friends from college. That was like the first thing that popped in my mind. And I say that because like we experienced a lot together, and our growth journeys have all kind of been at the same, not necessarily, I don't know if I would say at the same pace or not, but it's like we all like are continuously growing and, you know, just sharpening each other and like really teaching each other, you know, like that's probably like the biggest space I've learned, like just vulnerability, you know.
Ooh,
and being able
that's
to
the word right there.
express myself. And yeah, those were like my first, like my, and I wouldn't say my first teachers, because for sure my sister was a teacher in like all kinds of friendship. I think now more than ever, I really see her as a friend, because like we get along, like we're adults now, and we like
that
we
makes
really
a difference, doesn't
understand
it?
each other. Like being a kid and like having a younger sibling, like that relationship, like as a kid, when I think about it now, is like that's toxic, like always fighting with somebody and shit like that. Like that's crazy. But I think it shaped us to be so close also as adults.
What's your age gap?
3 years.
So my brother, the one I was talking about, we're 12 years apart.
Oh wow.
And I'm the youngest. I'm the
Yeah.
baby. And we've had full-on adult conversations about like how he used to not necessarily resent, but a little envious of me because I got everything I wanted. Like if my mom couldn't pay for it, I'll call my aunt, like, yo, auntie, and I'll get it.
Yeah.
And he didn't have that growing up. And I was always envious of him because like they got to travel so much because his father was in the Navy, and you know he was a military brat, so he got to travel the world, and I only got to see pictures. Or when I did travel, like I was a kid, so I didn't remember that.
Yeah.
But now that we're adults, you know, there's space. Like there's space in that. Like it's funny because like I'm thinking of a specific event, like when I was vulnerable enough to tell him my truth. Like I came out to my brother when I was 31. And I was so afraid. Like it goes back to like that fear of being abandoned, because you know that's why I came out so late in life. And some friends and family knew, but like the majority of people, like if you didn't ask, I didn't say anything. But I was dating a person, and I had thought this person was like a life partner, and so well, if this is a life partner, then I'm gonna have to tell my truth.
Yeah.
And I told him, and he was like, bro, I don't care who you date. And I knew that, but I was still afraid of losing him.
Of course, yeah.
And then, like, we were always friends, but that's when he became, like, that's when I realized, not became, because that's when the realization set in that he's, like, my day one.
Yeah. That's what's up. Yeah, mine was kind of the same. I came out to my sister and one of my best friends first, and he was just so cool about it. Like, he was shocked at first, but he was also just like, you know, it is what it is. Like, it ain't no big deal. And even today, like, you know, because we talk about it now sometimes, and he's like, man, I don't even think of gay when I think of you. Like, that's not the first thing I think of when I think of you.
Which is awesome.
It is. And it's also how I'm starting to feel how I carry myself in life. It's not the first thing I think about when I think of myself.
Yeah.
You know, and at one time it was. At one point in my life, like, gay fucking plagued my mind. You know what I mean? Like,
more so than black?
Well, because it's more as a stressor for me. I've always embraced my blackness, and that could be from growing up in the South. That could definitely be from my parents. Like my parents used to have us play like black board games, you know what I mean? Like
nice.
With trivia questions and shit.
Yes.
Like my mom was very much so pro-black my entire life, and my daddy was too. They both were two people from the hood that made a really dope life for me. Brought me in the suburbs, and it's funny how we were talking earlier about, people questioning your blackness. I had people question my blackness and shit, but at the same time, I had by far the most like consciously black parents in that motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like when I used to get in trouble and shit, my parents used to be at the schools and shit. And I don't know where I'm going with this because I forgot what we was talking about. But I just had to get this off because my parents used to be coming to the school because they knew how these schools treat black kids. My mom used to go to schools for other kids and shit.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I have like, since we're on this tangent, like, I have a shared experience. I was always the kid growing up where if I wasn't going, none of them can go. Like the friends, right? And then with that being said, like if my mom saw you doing some fucked up shit, she'll whoop your ass. And she'll call your parents. Like, your child was acting up in front of me, and I whooped their ass. And then they'll get another whooping when they got home. And then I get the, like, the next day you're in school, and they're like, man, I got in trouble because of your mom. Like, and I always said, if you don't do shit in front of her, you won't get in trouble. Yeah. Like, that's your own fault. But what we were talking about, if I'm not mistaken, was
we're talking about the gayness and the
blackness. The gayness, yes. And
so
blackness, yes.
The gayness was stressful for me because I knew I was attracted to guys. It was confusing. That word, just that word, gay.
Yeah.
And tying all these things that supposedly embody gay, that shit fucks with you. Especially when you grow up in a place where you don't see no gay people.
Or so you think you don't see no gay people.
Well, that's the thing. You don't see any openly gay people. You don't see openly gay people, so you don't know what it looks like other than TV. And when TV is the only example you have,
especially back then,
it doesn't make sense. It's a mind fuck. It's like, well, I'm attracted to him, but on TV they saying my wrist is gonna be limp and I'm gonna be just, super
flamboyant.
Yeah, and that's not true, and that's why that bothered me. It bothered me up until I was 26. I was more like so conscious of that, and I think that's why I'm so self-aware now.
Yeah,
because I was so conscious of that. Like, I knew I was black. I came into this world black. I was black before I was even born.
Yes,
that's how I know I'm black.
yes.
But this gay shit, this is like, I didn't come in the world saying I like niggas. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking about when I came in the world. I probably wasn't even thinking about attraction in that way. You know what I mean? So it's like these things build, and it's cool. It's cool that it builds up like that. But like I was telling you earlier, I want to get to a place where I solely identify as Mike Brown.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna always be tied to the blackness. But like these words that, like, what value do they really, like, if I stop saying I'm gay today, that don't mean I'm gonna stop fucking dudes.
Very true.
That don't mean I'm gonna stop dating dudes. I don't mean I'm gonna stop loving dudes. Men and dudes sound funny. But yeah, it's not gonna change anything. So it's like, that seems kind of surface to try to identify as something that may not speak to me.
It's James Woods, aka that yoga dude, with Feel Free to Feel Free, with an invitation to be your authentic self. Each and every breath builds a closer and deeper relationship with you, the real you. The tattoo wearing, motorcycle riding, yoga doing, quiet book reading, whoever you are, breathe into it with these next 3 deep breaths. On the count of 3, we start as we relax our shoulders, find comfort in our position, our posture, our seat, or our stance. Let go of the belly, the hands, the face. And take a deep breath in. 3, 2, 1. Breathe in. And breathe out. Softening the face. Deep breath in. And release. Softening the chest. slow, long, deep inhale. And let it all go on a body relaxing, authentic exhale. And as always, feel free to feel free. And namaste. Peace.
Next.
But how I'm viewing that is because that's the perception that we were given when we were kids, right? Because of media portrayal, lack of talking about it in our community in general. I'm trying to see and determine if I have the same view on the word from my own self. I don't know. Because, I mean, before you said it, I never thought of myself as gay first. Like,
Yeah.
I always thought black.
Yeah.
And then me being who I am, I guess it's an adjective to describe me if you really, but it's not really because, like, who cares?
Yeah.
But it is something I describe myself with. It's like, and the reason why it's on the forefront is because, like, I think we were talking about this earlier, like, for me, it feels like I'm always coming out because I might mention in passing, like, I date guys, and then you have to deal with people's reactions and.
But no, you don't. No, you don't. Like, I'm the only person out here telling the truth. Who else is telling the truth? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why, like, now, like, I don't feel the need to give a gay disclaimer no more.
Mm-hmm.
I date men. I'm attracted to men.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
And when you deliver it in an authentic way, I don't think people give a fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, when you start moving just in authenticity, like, sometimes you don't even find yourself in those spaces. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes complete sense.
Where you in a space where you're going to be affected by that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, people try to tell me, like, and I get it, and I probably do, that I have this privilege of being masculine. But I think when you gay, people don't give a fuck if they don't fuck with you being gay.
Exactly.
They don't give a fuck if you masculine, feminine, none of that shit. And that's being real.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if a nigga want to disrespect me, they disrespect me. But at the same time, I think I just don't move in that fear of that. And I also understand, like, I didn't experience that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we all have our own experience. And I think that's kind of circling back to everything we've talked about, just even with, like, why is it so hard for black men to have, like, friendships and
We didn't even talk about
relationships?
that.
We
Yeah.
didn't really talk about it. Well, we kind of mentioned in the beginning. That's why I was telling the listeners, if they see it differently, then to let me know.
Yeah.
But I think we lack empathy for each other, especially in the spaces of, like, the masculine versus the feminine, because, like, you know, everybody thinks the other had it easier. And it's like, we all had it hard. You know, you had it hard being feminine. I had it hard fucking living in the closet. It's all fucking hard. None of it's harder, more or less than the other. That's why we all fucked up. So what are we going to do about it?
And it goes to, like, your initial question, like, we were talking about this a couple of days ago, like, just black gay men have the same pool of people that they can pull from for friends and dating. And then being able to know which is which.
Yeah.
Because, like, it's unless you're in a gay space, it's hard enough to, like, approach a guy and be like, hey, I find you attractive. And if they're not into you, it's cool because it's a gay space. You can continue doing what you're doing. But if it's a straight space, and I'm doing quotation marks for a reason, because like you said earlier, like, it's a space. No one owns it.
Yeah.
There can be some consequences to you saying, hey, I find you attractive, and they might just flip the fuck out.
Right. Yeah.
And we're still conditioned to do that. But, like, as a friend, like, we're competing against each other for friendship and for romantic interest. And then within that, I think what, like, media plays, like, holds responsible for men were brought up to be competitive.
Yeah.
To be always number one at something. And with that, like, I find with black men specifically, we're competing against each other. Like, some people are like, oh, I have to have the best label on, or I have to make the most amount of money, or I have access to this location, and like, sometimes it's not about, like, not sometimes, it's not about that. Like, true fellowship, true friendship, like, it's the shared experiences that we have together.
Yeah.
It's, if you're my friend, you have my back, you're going to pump me up when I'm doing some great shit. Like, dude, your billboard, again.
I appreciate that.
Fucking great.
And I have to say this because it's on my mind, but I am also speaking from the perspective of a 35-year-old gay man, because, you know, when I'm thinking about it right now, I'm like, hey, I don't experience those things because I don't be in those type of spaces. But if I was 25,
exactly,
you know, it might be a little different from me. So for the younger people, this is me speaking as an older and I guess an elder gay.
But are we really saying that? Because, like, listen, 30 is still young.
Yeah, it is young, but at the same time, it's like, I can say I don't be in spaces where people be on shit like that because I'm older. I'm not going to, like, people are going to be more mature where I'm at for the most part, you know. But, yeah, man, like I said, we all got it hard in the shortest form.
And we're all overcoming traumas that we...
Of course.
I mean, like, man... I remember watching Aladdin, and you know, what's his name? Jafar. He was a campy gay guy.
Yeah.
And like, how we were kind of villainized. Like, gay people were villainized back then. And it's funny because now you get these people that are arguing, saying you're putting in too much in our face. It's not that. We're just existing, and you're just not realizing that we're the same as you.
Yeah,
we operate the same way that you do. We move the same way you do.
Yeah.
Half the time, you don't even know that we're a couple until you see us holding hands.
Right.
And then you're like, oh, shit. Right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I can at least say that I'm happy about that.
I feel that. What is... I'm trying to think of how to word this question. What is one way that you think we could bring healing to, like, just the black gay male community?
More than just allowing space, is recognizing when someone is hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Allowing that space to happen for them to voice their hurt, but also uplifting them at the same time. Like, yo, I know you're hurt. You can acknowledge it. Because a lot of times we don't even acknowledge said hurt. And we be fronting, putting on this mask because we've been taught to code switch really well.
Yeah.
Acting like everything's all fine and dandy, but we're not.
Yeah.
So that's a way of just allowing space to happen, acknowledging that you are hurt, and allowing those feelings to be said, and then building community. Like, I really appreciate the fact that you're in my community now. Like, and so my boss is black, and she's a woman, and she's straight, and we have these, and this is the first time I've had a black boss in corporate America ever, so this is phenomenal for me. I'm like geeking out on it.
Yeah.
We having insider conversations about shit. But, like, I was talking to her about, like, I was like, yeah, me and the black gays. I say that and jokingly, but because I know that she needs to understand, like this is my community. Like, I finally have a foundation, a support system that we can be candid and be vulnerable and for the most part not feel like we're being judged. Because, I mean, let's be honest, we're human. We're all going to judge someone every once in a while.
Yeah.
But, like, but we allow a lot of time for space just to hang out, talk about music, talk about art, talking about just our experiences. And I don't, at least to me, I don't see that happening a lot with other, like, groups.
Yeah.
Within the gay black community, like you can tell, like, when there's a clique of people, you're like, oh, y'all just competing against each other, calling each other friends.
And
like,
I wonder, is it a LA thing? Because, like, just because it is such a small community, is it an LA thing?
No, I felt that when I went to Atlanta. I felt it when I went to New York. It's just a different, the presentation of it's a little different. I mean, the little swagger about it is a little different.
Yeah.
But like, but I mean, even the straight community is the same way. It's
Of
just
course,
not as prevalent.
And the thing is, like, it's probably in every community, but you know, this.
But we're
this,
taught to
this
hate
the
more,
one
though.
where I'm living. So it's like, how do we change some of that? How do we grow past some of that? Because it's like, man, this shit.
What do you think?
Man, I think everybody needs healing. I think everybody needs to heal whatever their past or their journey was in order to like really move forward in life, you know, because man, once you start realizing like almost every experience leads up to your experience, because it's like somebody might have did you something, but they may have had an experience that led them that way, that led them that way. So it's like all this shit, like you have to heal that shit for yourself, because like that shit is never going to change.
Understanding.
Yeah.
Understanding.
Acceptance.
Understanding and acceptance allows for growth and maturity. And I think it actually leads to wisdom, because you handle yourself a different way in different situations. Like, I can think of many scenarios that I've encountered now as a 30-something-year-old, like I said, 37, that in my 20s, I mean, my mouth, I already have a mouth, but like, you would have got some hands or something. Like, it would have, like, I would have reacted completely different.
Yeah, same.
But now I can navigate the spaces a little different because I have the understanding and the wisdom to know.
Yeah.
Like, when to step up and when you have to, and when to just fall back and observe. Yeah.
I got 2 more questions for you. What is one piece of advice you would give to your younger self?
Ooh. So, like I didn't mention in the beginning, I write poetry as well. And I literally started a poem last night that said, I see you, a letter to my younger self.
Yeah.
Like literally last night.
Oh, wow.
And the advice I would give myself, that's like one of the first songs I said, like, you're seen, stand up and be proud.
Yeah. That's what's up.
Yeah, that's crazy. That, like, you asked that question.
That's what's up. What is one piece, or no, I said one piece of advice. What is one lesson or reminder that you want to give your future self? What's a reminder you want to give your future self?
Ooh. A reminder I would like to give my future self. Oh, man, I don't know how to answer that question right now. I have too many things going in my head. I think it boils down to you're going to get what you deserve. Yeah. You've been working your ass off. You're going to get what you deserve. Yeah.
That's what's up. Man, Dre, thank you for coming on the show.
Of course.
Can you let the people know where they can find you?
Yes, you can find me on Facebook at andre.dkelly. On Instagram, Tempting Bass. And if I'm not mistaken, that's also my Twitter handle. Yeah.
That's what's up.
And Tempting Bass is as in the instrument or the voice, because I am a bass, so BASS. Tempting as in TEM as in Mary, PTING as in George. You like that?
That's funny. Man, thank you for coming on the show.
Of course.
Thank y'all for listening. This is Mike Brown, and this is The Art of Letting Go. Peace. Thank you for tuning into this week's episode of The Art of Letting Go. If you like what you heard, please be sure to subscribe to the show wherever you listen to it. Also, leave a comment, leave a rating. Like I said, Spotify just started these ratings, so I would love to see those 5 stars up there for the show. Also, any merch that you would like to purchase is available at justmikebrown.com. That's a great way to support the show. Also, please hit me up on the phone line. Send me a question through a DM or however you could get in touch with me. Get in touch with me. I would love to hear from y'all. Thank you for tuning into this week's episode. It's The Art of Letting Go. Peace.